All right, so today we're going to be diving deep into something pretty amazing.
Okay.
The world of a clinical perfusion scientist.
Wow. That's a pretty intense one.
It is. This is a role that's absolutely crucial in the operating room, especially when it comes to heart surgeries.
I can imagine.
I mean, picture this.
Okay.
You're responsible for keeping the patient's blood flowing,
Wow.
keeping it oxygenated while the surgeons are working on their heart.
Oh, my goodness.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah, no kidding.
So to help us really get a grasp on what it takes to prepare for a career like this,
Okay.
we're turning to some awesome resources from RoleCatcher.
Right.
They've got this super detailed career guide.
All right.
And get this, an AI-powered interview prep tool.
Whoa, really? AI?
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
And to make things even more exciting,
Okay.
we're going to get a sneak peek at some actual interview questions
Yes.
that they've put together.
I'm excited.
Me too.
So where do we start?
Well, I think before we jump into the nitty-gritty of the interview prep,
Okay.
it's important to kind of lay the groundwork, right?
Makes sense.
So let's hear from you.
Sure.
What's this role really all about? Paint us a picture.
Okay, so imagine this. You're a blend of like an engineer and a physiologist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're making sure that the patient's circulatory system is running smoothly, even when their heart is, not really in the game at that moment.
Literally.
Right. It's wild.
Yeah.
And you're the one running the heart-lung machine.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the lifeline during the surgery.
So you're like the heart whisperer.
I guess you could say that. It's pretty intense, though. You're
Yeah.
constantly monitoring everything, adjusting the blood flow,
Wow.
administering meds, and you got to be in sync with the whole surgical team.
That sounds intense. An understatement.
Totally.
I mean, it's a lot to handle, but also incredibly rewarding, I bet.
Well, for sure.
So with all that in mind, let's dive into these interview questions.
Okay, let's do it.
Because knowing what to expect can make all the difference, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so first up, this one seems pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Can you describe your experience working with extracorporeal circulation systems?
The heart-lung machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty technical, though.
It is, but, it's a chance to really shine and show off what you know.
Okay, so how would you approach this one?
Well, it's not just about listing off procedures, right?
Right.
It's about showing them how you think.
Okay, so problem solving.
Yes.
I like it.
Think back to a time when maybe the system acted up or a patient had like a unique need that forced you to adjust your approach.
So walk them through the challenge.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like a story almost.
I like
And
it.
what the outcome was.
Show them you can handle the heat.
Exactly. And what's cool?
Like
They
it.
might even ask you, like, what did you learn from that?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or how did that change your approach?
So it's about showing them you're always growing.
Always learning.
I like it.
It's a continuous process.
Okay, that's a fantastic tip for that question.
Thanks.
Now let's move on to another one.
Okay.
This one's all about staying current.
All right, shoot.
How do you stay up to date with the latest developments in perfusion science?
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. It's a bit broader.
It is.
So what's the key here?
I think it's about showing your passion, right?
Okay, so you're not just there for the paycheck.
Exactly.
You're actually into it.
Yeah, you're genuinely interested in the field
Okay.
and you're committed to, constantly learning.
So how do you demonstrate that?
Well, you could talk about specific journals you read or conferences you attend.
Okay.
Even professional organizations are part of.
So it's not just name dropping, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's about picking a recent development that really blew your mind
Okay.
and explaining why it mattered to you.
So they see that spark.
Exactly. The spark.
I like it.
That's what they're looking for.
Okay, so next up, this question might not apply to everyone.
Yeah, okay.
But it could definitely come up.
All right, what is it?
Can you describe your experience working with pediatric patients?
Yeah, that's a specialized area.
It is. So if you have experience with kids,
Mm-hmm.
this is your time to shine.
Right. You can highlight the unique challenges and also the amazing rewards.
Yeah, because working with kids is a whole different ballgame.
Totally.
So what kind of things could you talk about?
Well, you could describe how you explain procedures to a child
Oh, yeah, that's important.
in a way they understand, right?
Mhm.
Or how you adjust your communication style.
Right, because you can't talk to them like adults.
Exactly.
It's a whole different approach.
Absolutely.
But what if someone doesn't have direct experience with pediatric cases?
That's okay. Honesty is key.
Okay.
Acknowledge that you haven't worked specifically with kids yet, but then pivot,
Okay, so how would you pivot?
You could mention, like, shadowing a colleague who specializes in that area,
Oh,
or taking a course to learn more about pediatric perfusion.
so showing that you're proactive.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating that you're eager to learn and adapt.
Because in this field, you have to be adaptable, right?
Absolutely. Things change all the time.
Okay, that's a great strategy.
Thanks.
Now, let's move on to a question that gets to the heart of patient safety.
Okay, this is a big one.
It is. How do you ensure patient safety during perfusion procedures?
Okay, so this is where you showcase your meticulous side,
Oh, yeah.
talk about your pre-procedure checklists,
Mm-hmm.
how you verify the equipment,
Right.
make sure the meds are dosed correctly.
So it's all about that attention to detail.
Yes, and vigilance.
Right, because you can't afford to miss anything.
Exactly.
You're the last line of defense, almost.
In a way, yeah.
And, RoleCatcher's Career Guide really emphasizes the importance of working in that high-pressure, sterile environment.
Oh, it's crucial.
So this question is definitely designed to assess if you can handle it.
Absolutely.
They want to know you're not going to crack under pressure.
Right. And they might even follow up with, like,
Okay, like what?
tell me about a time you spotted a potential safety issue. What did you do?
Oh, so they want a specific example.
Yeah, be ready with a story that shows you're proactive.
That's a great tip.
Thanks.
All right, so now for a question that gets a bit more personal.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
How do you manage stress and stay calm during high-pressure situations?
Ooh, yeah, everyone gets stressed.
Right, but how do you answer this without sounding like you're going to panic in the OR?
Well, I think it's about acknowledging the reality.
Right.
Like, this job is intense,
Mm-hmm.
but then emphasizing how you cope.
So like, I've got this.
Exactly. You could mention techniques like mindful breathing
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
or taking a moment to step back before reacting.
So it's about having strategies.
Yes, proven strategies.
And maybe even tying those strategies to a real-life experience.
That's a great idea.
Right, like, here's how I use this technique to stay calm when things got crazy.
Perfect.
Because they want to see you've actually applied these things.
Exactly. Not just that you read about them in a book.
Okay, great tip. Let's tackle another technical one.
All right, hit me.
Can you describe your experience working with circulatory assist devices?
Okay, so be prepared to talk about different types of devices, their applications, your experience with them.
So the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, but what's really important here is focusing on your problem-solving skills.
Ah, there it is again.
It's a recurring theme.
It is. And your ability to learn new tech.
Absolutely, because technology is always advancing.
Right. So what if they ask about a specific device that someone hasn't worked with?
Well, don't just say, I don't know.
Okay, so what do you say?
Acknowledge that you haven't used that particular one yet, but emphasize your willingness to learn.
Oh, okay.
You could say something like, I've been researching its applications and I'm confident I can learn it quickly.
So turn a potential negative into a positive.
Exactly. Show them you're eager to grow.
I like it.
And, they might ask about similar devices you've used.
Oh, to see how your knowledge transfers.
Precisely.
Yeah,
So be ready to connect the dots.
that's a great point. Let's move on to question number 7.
Okay, what's next?
This one focuses on a crucial aspect of the role.
Right.
It might not be as glamorous as running a heart-lung machine, but
Okay, I'm curious.
how do you ensure accurate documentation of perfusion procedures?
Documentation. It's so important.
It is, and it can be tedious, but
But essential.
exactly.
Okay.
So what's the key to answering this one effectively?
It's about showing your meticulousness again, but also your understanding of the bigger picture.
Okay, so like the legal and ethical side of things.
Exactly. Talk about your familiarity with electronic medical record systems, your process for double-checking entries.
Just making sure everything's accurate.
Absolutely. And don't forget HIPAA regulations.
Oh, right, for patient privacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Could you explain what HIPAA is, just in case some listeners aren't familiar?
Sure. HIPAA stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It's a federal law that protects the privacy and security of patients' health information.
So it's about safeguarding their confidentiality.
Exactly.
Makes sense. So this question isn't just about being organized.
Right.
It's about understanding the wider implications
Absolutely.
of accurate documentation and patient privacy.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so we've covered 7 questions so far,
Wow, that's a lot.
and I'm noticing a pattern.
Oh, really? What's that?
It seems like interviewers are really looking for candidates who can, demonstrate the technical stuff, but also showcase those soft skills.
Ah, the soft skill.
Like problem-solving, adaptability, commitment to patient safety.
You're spot on. Those are just as important, if not more.
And you know what? This ties in perfectly with what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, right. RoleCatcher's AI tool.
Exactly.
I'm really curious about that.
Me too. So from what I understand,
Okay.
you can upload the job description to RoleCatcher,
Mm-hmm.
and their AI analyzes it to figure out the key skills and experience they're looking for.
Oh, wow.
And then it suggests ways to tailor your answers
Oh, no way.
to match those specific requirements.
So it's like having a personal interview coach.
It really is. Pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who might be new to the field,
Yeah, or just feeling a little unsure.
Totally.
And it even provides feedback on your answers.
Really? Tell me more.
So you can practice answering the questions,
Mm-hmm.
and the AI will give you feedback on your delivery, your content,
Wow.
how well you're hitting those key points.
So it helps you identify weak spots.
Exactly. And suggests ways to improve.
That's incredible. Like, it takes the guesswork out of it.
It really does. It's all about being prepared and presenting yourself in the best possible light.
Well, you've definitely got me convinced.
Me too. It sounds like a game changer.
It does.
All right, so we've covered a lot with these first 7 questions.
We have, but I'm excited to hear what else RoleCatcher's Guide has to say.
Me too. Let's dig deeper into the career itself, shall we?
Let's do it. It's amazing how AI can, help you prep for interviews.
Right.
But beyond the interview, what's it really like to be a clinical perfusion scientist?
Okay, yeah, let's get into that.
RoleCatcher's Guide talks about the good and the bad,
Mm-hmm.
the different stages of your career, even the emotional side of things.
Let's explore that. What are some of the most rewarding parts of this career?
Okay, imagine you're part of this team, you just finished a complex heart surgery,
Okay.
and you see the patient's heartbeat stabilize on the monitor,
Wow.
knowing you played a crucial role in saving their life.
That's got to feel amazing.
It's incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, it's not just a job, it's making a real difference.
Exactly. And beyond that, there's the intellectual side.
Okay.
Perfusion science is constantly evolving, new technologies.
Hmm.
You're always learning, problem solving, facing new challenges.
So it keeps you on your toes.
Definitely. But let's be real, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, right?
Right. RoleCatcher's Guide mentions some downsides too.
Of course, it's demanding, requires focus, attention to detail. You often work long hours, and the stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah. No room for error.
And there's a potential for burnout, especially with critical cases.
So it's not just the technical stuff, it's the emotional resilience too.
Absolutely. That's something to consider as you prep for the interview.
Okay.
They're looking for signs of that resilience, that composure.
That makes sense. Hey, RoleCatcher's Guide has this section.
Oh, yeah.
Entry-level, clinical perfusion scientist, typical responsibilities. What can we learn from that for someone starting out?
It gives a realistic view of those early years.
Okay.
You'll likely be assisting senior perfusionists, learning the ropes,
Mm-hmm.
gradually taking on more responsibility.
Okay.
Things like setting up the heart-lung machine, monitoring patient data, making sure equipment works.
So lots of hands-on experience.
Exactly. Building a solid foundation.
That's great. Now, what about long-term career prospects? Where can this lead?
There's so many options.
Like what?
As you gain experience, you could specialize
Okay.
pediatric perfusion or ECMO,
ECMO.
extracorporeal membrane oxygenation.
Okay, what's that?
It's like a life support technique for patients with severe lung or heart failure.
So a more advanced form of life support.
Exactly. It's highly specialized, requires extra training.
Wow, that's fascinating. So beyond specializing, what else?
You could move into leadership, supervising other perfusionists,
Okay.
managing a department. Some even go into research or education.
So sharing their knowledge?
Yeah, contributing to the field.
That's awesome. And of course, continuous learning is key throughout, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher really stresses that staying current with the research, new technologies.
So conferences, journals.
Yeah, and pursuing certifications.
They mentioned CCP, BLS, ACLS, ECLS, CPAT.
Those are all valuable.
Showing your commitment to professional growth.
Exactly.
Sounds like a career with stability and potential for growth.
It is. And a chance to truly make a difference.
We've talked about the emotional resilience needed for this job.
Mm-hmm.
What stood out to you in RoleCatcher's Guide about that? One thing that hit me was how perfusionists often form bonds with their patients,
Oh, yeah.
especially during those long, complex procedures.
That makes sense.
They're not just technicians, they're providing support, reassurance.
It's a very human element.
Right. That human connection often gets overlooked when talking about healthcare careers.
I agree. It's not just about the science, it's about empathy, compassion.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can help.
Oh, really? How so?
By analyzing job descriptions, finding keywords related to soft skills,
Hmm.
it can suggest ways to weave those qualities into your answers.
So it's about showcasing the whole package.
Right. Your skills, your compassion, your genuine self.
It's like having a guide to help you navigate the interview process.
Exactly. Speaking of which, RoleCatcher also has a CV resume builder
No way.
and a huge employer database.
Tell me more.
The CD resume builder uses AI to help you create a tailored CV.
Wow.
It analyzes the job description, suggests relevant skills to highlight.
So it helps your CV stand out.
Exactly. And the employer database is amazing for research.
Okay.
You can learn about different hospitals, their culture, job openings.
That's incredibly helpful.
Right. Gives you an edge in your job search.
It sounds like RoleCatcher really empowers you in your career journey.
Absolutely. It's all about having the knowledge and tools to succeed.
I love that.
But before we wrap up, let's go back to the emotional weight of this job.
Okay.
We've talked about staying calm, the skills, teamwork.
Mm.
But what about the impact of knowing a patient's life is in your hands?
That's a heavy thought.
Right. How do you think you'd handle that responsibility?
It really is. It makes you think.
It's easy to focus on the technical side,
Yeah.
but ultimately, this is about human connection.
Absolutely. You're not just operating a machine.
Right.
You're entrusted with someone's life when they're at their most vulnerable.
It's a huge responsibility.
It is. It takes a special kind of person to handle that with, like grace and compassion.
And I think that comes through in the interview.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about textbook answers.
Right.
It's about conveying your empathy, your understanding of the weight of this role.
Showing them you're not just skilled, but you have the heart for it.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can even help with that.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, it analyzes those job descriptions,
Mm-hmm.
picks up on keywords related to soft skills,
Okay.
and suggests ways to work those qualities into your answers.
So it's about showing them the whole picture.
Yes. Your skills, your compassion, who you are as a person.
It's pretty amazing how technology can do that.
It is. It's like having a secret weapon.
Definitely gives you an edge.
Okay, so to wrap up our deep dive today,
Okay.
I think we've given everyone a great foundation for understanding this career. We've talked about the challenges, the rewards, the technical skills, the emotional intelligence.
What's a demanding but incredibly rewarding path?
It is. And remember, thorough preparation is key.
Absolutely.
Dive into those resources, practice those interview questions.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher.
Yes, it can make a world of difference.
It really can.
All right, so until next time, keep learning, keep exploring.
And never stop pursuing your dreams.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.